for many organizations. But while workforce has evolved, I think even benefits ought to be kept at the same pace. So we are going to dig into what it means to truly support employees, no matter where they are in the world, and what employers can do to make that support meaningful and make sure that it's also impactful. So now I am thrilled to introduce our guest speakers today. And these are two fantastic experts, starting with Jackie, who is one of us from WorkPay. She's the Global and People Operations Team Manager. And George also, who is an account manager from Safety Wing, who brings deep insight into scalable employee support for remote teams. So welcome, Jackie, and welcome, George. I just want to give you an opportunity to say hi to everyone, then we may proceed. Welcome, Jackie.
All right, thank you, Diana. And just to say hello to our audience. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to an engaging conversation. And as Diana mentioned, I support the global people team here at WorkPay. My experience cuts across 15 years working in different industries, sectors, different regions. So I'm excited to have this conversation with George and everyone.
All right, thank you, Jackie. George, you're welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is George Vasa. I'm thrilled to be part of this webinar hosted by WorkPay Africa. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share what Safety Wing mission and vision is. For over a decade, I've been traveling. I've been living the borderless life, working full-time while raising the kids and still traveling the world. So this journey has made at least one thing clear for me, both personally and professionally, that health and security should not stop at the border. That's why here at Safety Wing, we are committed to re-imaging what care, safety, and support look like for global teams, remote workers, and nomad for everywhere in the world.
All right, thank you, George. Like you heard, we want this session to be interactive and an insightful session too. So we all have a couple of live polls, and we request you to just drop your questions as we go by on the Q&A session. And feel free to just ask anything from whatever area you come from, that is from compliance and anything to do with employee benefits. So let's kick off with one quick pulse check by running our first poll. And this is coming to you just to ask you what you feel about your company's current benefits packages, and also what you feel and whether they meet the need of a remote or global team. So you're welcome to just participate in the poll. It is currently showing on your screen, so feel free to engage. Let us continue participating. I can see most of us are engaging. Thank you. Out of 58, we have 13, so let's continue. Let's make sure we have at least a 70% participation. Then it becomes a good response. I think I can give a little more time for us to participate on the live poll. You as an employee or also as an employer, do you feel your company's current benefits packages meet the needs of a remote or global team? I think we may continue. These are interesting results, and they explain why we are here. I would let you know that 45% of you think that it does the bare minimum, which means that we have a lot to work on, and that sends us to Jackie. And Jackie, allow us to start with you because you manage people across several countries at WorkPay. And I know you've had firsthand experience navigating the challenges of offering meaningful benefits to remote teams, especially in Africa and beyond. And so allow me to just give you this opportunity just to talk to us about the real world challenges faced in managing a remote team, how medical cover leaves gaps in terms of mental health, local specific needs, or lack of flexibility, and also give us your insight on the impact of employee benefits when it comes to employee experience and also retention. So karibu Jackie.
All right, thank you, Diana. And yeah, I mean, the poll results just say it all. 45% of us think that it's the bare minimum. And if I can probably just share my experience around the gaps that I notice in basically the traditional benefits that typically most organizations offer, is just the complexity around managing a distributed team. So I believe just working with just understanding the context, right? So for whichever teams you're supporting or working with, understand the context around the local laws and regulations, because they do vary widely. And also thinking around the employee expectations, which are typically shaped by our cultures and economic context. If you also think of access to services like healthcare or mental health support, it's generally never uniform. So I'd say the biggest gap that I've noted is companies using a one-size-fits-all approach, which generally doesn't work. And for instance, traditional insurance models basically fall short in delivering meaningful coverage, especially outside the HQ office into global teams. So yeah, I'd say that's the gap that's very common. Now, how do you balance care when building out benefits for globally distributed teams? So I always say the answers are always with the staff. They know exactly what adds value to them. So basically, employers should start with understanding what the employees actually value, and can do this through surveys and pulse checks. You can also get a feel around expectations during the hiring and onboarding session, so it doesn't have to be the team members on board for you to really understand what they would like to see. For instance, if it's medical, what do they value most? Do they value mental health, wellness? Do they value stipends? Do they value flexibility in time off, etc.? So really understanding what people need typically does help. I think another thing would probably be, let's say, for instance, if we talk about getting, let's say, a medical insurance package, it's usually helpful to negotiate, region-specific providers instead of just getting a blanket global plan. Usually, they tend to be more cost-effective and relevant for that particular team that you're managing. So thinking around just what's meaningful for employees, whether it's mental health, in addition to the bare minimum that, for instance, medical insurance covers do cover. They typically take care of physical health, but mental health, wellness stipends, flexi time off typically help as well. Yeah.
Wow, thank you, Jackie. That is insightful, and I think it is good just to understand that for sure traditional benefits are coming to an end. It's an era where we need to be open-minded. We need to ensure that whatever benefits we offer our employees are global in such a way that then anyone in whatever country they are in, then they feel satisfied. And so thank you, Jackie, for giving us that insightful picture. And now allow me just to continue with our next poll, which just talks about us wanting to know, imagine your employees had a say what do you think they would value most? Would they value medical insurance? Would they value wellness stipends or lifestyle? Would they value mental health support, or would they value flexibility? And even as we vote, this is in line with what Jackie has just spoken about, that it is good to consider what employees value most. And this also helps us just retain good talents and also get people who are well experienced. And so the business benefits in terms of efficiency, in terms of productivity, and also our employees remain motivated. So so far, as you can see, is that people really value medical insurance. This is fascinating because medical insurance comes with many other benefits, which at times are taken as add-ons, and this should be actually part of the medical insurance. So it's clear that employee needs are more than just insurance. They need flexibility, because flexibility comes in next. They need mental health, and they also need lifestyle perks, as they are becoming as crucial as these other benefits. So at this point, I would want maybe to welcome still Jackie or George, if you have insight on this, and let us know what are some of the low cost or high impact wellness initiatives that we've seen really resonating with global or remote employees. Because as you can see, 70% are looking forward or would like their medical insurance prioritized. So what are these other low cost or high impact wellness initiatives that you've seen resonate with global or remote employees? Jackie, I think you would still take this.
Jackie.
It's okay. If Jackie is not there, George, please proceed, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Like Jackie mentioned before, of our polls to show that the bare minimum of their coverage, that's quite frightening. Now, the second poll shows that the medical insurance is also for them quite vital. In today's world, work is no longer bound by borders, and talents are distributed, teams are remote, people want more flexibility and the autonomy to choose where they want to work and when they want to live and work from. So at Safety Wing, one of the core foundations of our workplaces is that work is what we do, not necessarily where we do it. Mm-hmm. And the benefits, such as we mentioned before, are at bare minimum, puts the member's life at risk. And those providers, which are quite censored, they leave people uncovered just when they need them the most. Healthcare is essential. And what we are doing now is that we are building a global social safety net, which starts with remote health, a comprehensive health insurance that goes with the member wherever they travel, within the country, across the countries, across the continents, across the globe, in more than 175 countries. The coverage goes with them. And on top of that, it also provides, and it should not be only covering the emergency expenses or the emergency bills, but it boosts their awareness. We have only one body and one temple, and at Safety Wing, we make sure that we pay attention to ourselves by providing additional support, meaning complementary sessions, mental health, life coverage, preventative care checkups by just checking yourself, meaning yearly or semi-annually, routine care checkups, how your urine and blood tests are going, cardiovascular, cancer screenings, and also flexible complementary therapy, which are massage, osteopath, chiropractors, acupuncture, dietitians. Once the members feel seen and heard, that they are able to take their health insurance wherever they go, and they will not face any gaps, neither any geographic location sensors, they will show up better. They will be more focused. They will contribute more. They will stay longer, which is a win-win for the company retaining their talents, but also for the members' personal well-being, including their families too.
Well, thank you. Thank you, George, for those great insights. And that leads us to something that is rarely talked about, the agility gap in traditional insurance. George, as companies expand globally or hire through employer of records companies, many realize too late that traditional medical insurance just doesn't scale. George, from Safety Wing, I know you're able to break down and show us what truly agile insurance looks like and how it keeps up with nomads now that we know that Safety Wing provides insurance for nomads, for remote teams, and also for cross-border workers. So, George, if you don't mind, maybe just talk to us through it, like from your work with distributed teams, where are you seeing traditional medical insurance falling short? Or what does insurance agility really mean in the context of today's mobile and remote teams? And also maybe check on how can a company make sure benefits actually travel with employees, especially frequent movers or international hires. Are there creative or cost benefit strategies you would advise employers to use expand coverage without really burning through their budgets? Or how does a provider like Safety Wing adapt to the realities of global mobile teams, especially in regions like Africa and also beyond Africa? So, George.
Thank you. Those are great questions. And I would love to start first with why traditional insurances do not scale as EORs, global employees, and other companies who, in their DNA, in their core of their businesses, is to hire team members and talent that are distributed across the globe. Traditional insurances were built for stationary team, not borderless ones. It was presumed that they will have only one headquarter, one office, they will have only specific local people. They would show up at the office. But this is not the real DNA of the EORs and other platforms and the way that Safety Wings operate. As I mentioned before, the talents now are all over the world, and traditional insurances are not catching up with the pace that the rising economies with the technologies as well as other companies are requesting in order to keep their members happy and to boost their growth long term. So traditional insurance, I would say they are quite fragmented, meaning they have different standards, they have different limitations. They will provide specific coverage into one specific location or geographically location and leave then uncover once the member is relocated. Most importantly is also the complexity on the admin side. When having team and your headquarters in different locations, you'll have to face different bureaucracies and different ways of managing the team. While with Safety Wing is all merged into one simple dashboard managing the team, while you can hire and add someone from India, from Africa, at the same time adding 20 members from Germany, you can do those by clicking a few times your mouse and the computer, and all members then will be enrolled in the plan. You mentioned insurance agility. By its definition, agility means to move fast, to be able to adapt, and this is why traditional insurances are lacking short, and why Safety Wing has been so powerful and able to provide these tools to other companies is because managing, not dealing, and most importantly for the HR members, over 40 hours plus per week simply to manage different providers, going through their dashboards, reading the policy documents. Some members might be overcovered and some members might be overcovered due to their geographic locations. The way that Safety Wing helps companies hiring across the globe is by providing one plan, meaning high equal standard benefits for all team members, and flat pricing. Flat pricing per age, not specific to the geographic location, meaning that members who are in European countries, the companies would pay more, and in other developing countries, the companies would pay less. It simply goes by the by the age of the member. So one flat fee.
Yes, George, we can hear you.
And then most importantly, how companies would help, meaning adopting or maybe become a budget friendly without breaking the banks, is that companies have the flexibility to pay a percentage of members' dependents coverage. We all know if a member has a spouse and they work in different industries, they might be covered under different providers. And that might leave the families or the spouse in a very uncomfortable position, which is one has a great coverage and the other person cannot take the coverage with them. To be able to travel wherever you go so that you can be inspired and still make the most out of your benefits, when companies try to merge all the family members under one plan, one dashboard, one policy document, one go-to person, such as me and my colleagues, it makes them feel more empowered, more supported, where they can really take advantage of their benefits. As I mentioned before, the complementary therapies, the wellness sessions, psychiatric mental treatment, which they can still take advantage of while seeing the provider face-to-face or virtual interaction, considering that members might leave. So providing a specific percentage to cover their dependents, it really boosts awareness where members feel seen and they really lay deeper roots with the company so they can onboard all their family members under one plan.
All right. Thank you, George. Are you done with it now?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I think, George, thank you for that broad insight on what SafetyWing is able to provide to its clients. And that is why WorkPay have partnered with you, because you're able to offer solutions across the globe. And this includes ensuring that the terms are standardized, ensuring that even the premiums are payable in a very negotiable rate and also negotiable terms, to the sense that I think, George, you forgot to even mention that premiums are even quoted on a monthly basis to ensure that employers and also employees who are willing to participate in this kind of program, then it is easier for them. It is something that can be organized to ensure that you're able to pay for your premiums on a monthly basis. Maybe the other aspect, George, we would maybe mention is that we also have existing free payment cards. These are online credit cards that are able to give you access to service providers, and these are health service providers prior, not you having to break your bank because you're unwell, and this is across the globe. So if you ever had trouble getting coverage for a traveling or a relocated team member, please remember to chat us and know that you're not alone. SafetyWing and WorkPay are here to offer you these solutions, and we are always excited to ensure that employers and also employees have their benefits well in check and have their employees satisfied and happy as they work remotely. So we've talked about insurance, but benefits are also just about fixing problems. They are about preventing them. And that's why building a proactive wellness culture is also very important, especially for remote and hybrid teams. And I know Jackie would concur with me. So let's talk now about how mental health, data, and creative wellness solutions come together to form a truly supportive environment. Jackie, I'm sure you can talk about burnout and isolation, since these are things and areas that are on a fast rising, especially among remote workers who tend to go to extra timing because they are remotely located and don't have to be seen from an 8 to 5. And so, Jackie, tell us, what are you seeing inside Workpay and across the companies you support, especially with our global employees? What are you seeing when it comes to burnout and isolation?
Good question, Diana. I think with COVID really did change the way of work for most employees and employers as well. So I'd say, yeah, COVID was like the biggest shift. And with that, it obviously came in with a few complexities. And the issue now has been around, can we sustain the precedents we set during COVID and earlier on post-COVID? So when you talk about mental well-being, people have different personalities. From my experience, when I engage with people, you have the most common example I can give is extroverts and introverts. Now, what I noted was, and this is with conversations with predominantly extroverts, they are the ones who took it the hardest when they were forced to, be isolated, to stay in one, just to be in their workplace, not to be in their workplace, not to have an opportunity to engage with different people. So they took it the hardest. So with those particular team members, thinking through how can we still support their mental well-being, how can we ensure that they're still engaged and productive was critical. And what did that mean? What benefits can we introduce to help these people, to still remain productive and engaged and motivated? So you'd find, we'd talk about perks all the way from let's help you set up your own office, right? And we will cover that for you. Set it in a way that, you feel it's within your taste, and it creates a really just conducive environment for you to be productive. Parks around, virtual. I think I've had George talk about like having access to virtual care. That also helps. Having access to mindful apps, for example, where you can just simply download an app that will help you, with your mental well-being. So really, it's all about just listening to your employees and hearing what helps them, what value will they see in terms of the benefits that you're offering, then presenting a one-fit-all solution. So it's all about being creative, customize your benefits, listen to what employees are saying, and most of them will literally not break the bank. Might have one or two small cost implication, but you'd want to do like what Google does. But again, or just customization and hearing what people have to say, because they do have the solutions with them.
Wow, thank you, Jackie. I think that is profound. And George, I don't know whether you would want to add something small from an insurance perspective, as an insurer or an underwriter. How are you stepping in for more human-centered ways to support the mental well-being of employees?
I second 100% with what Jack said, that COVID really did a huge impact in our lives, in a negative way, I would say. However, as humans are creators of adaptation, agile, bringing back the definition that relates with our insurance, we took it personally and we managed to add 5 extra sessions of complementary therapies and 5 extra sessions of mental health therapies, making it to 15 sessions for, as you know, we have 3 plans where members can really take advantage to be seen. Not only that, for me personally, as I mentioned before, being able to travel with my family. Now, at the moment speaking, I'm in Europe, in Albania, but I reside in the US. So even for me and myself and my family, it's vital to be able to travel so that we can breathe and we can change the scenery. And this is something that has empowered us to keep our minds and body sharp. Not only this, but to be able to expose our kids to different cultures. We have seen tremendous progress in the way that they think, in the way that we have now grasped what life is, but also how our well-being has impacted due to our constant travel while being under one plan. Jackie mentioned also that paying and being able to see any licensed provider, mental health treatment, or complementary therapies. Nowadays, members of Safety Wing can use those benefits while paying 0% co-insurance, meaning you saw the provider, you are paying, let's take an example of easy numbers, $100. You will get $100. There is no co-insurance that you have to split the bill with your personal out-of-pocket expenses and how much you will get reimbursed. Not only that, but at Safety Wing, being part of our community members, do not have to use any deductible, meaning you pay X amount of money out of pocket and then Safety Wing kicks in to cover the rest of it. So I agree that members' well-being, to be seen and paying attention to their well-being is extremely important, not only to function long-term, but also be there for their family members in a personal level and to be able to be great to deliver excellency in the professional aspect.
Oh, thank you, George. This is coming out very clearly that employers need to be very agile and also offer benefits or medical benefits that are very agile also to their employees. Because if I heard you clearly, George, you're saying that with your health insurance, then people are able to get a lot of support in terms of many other benefits. For example, like you said, you're in Europe and you reside in the US. That means that you have peace of mind wherever you are, despite being a resident of the US. So thank you, George and Jackie, for bringing out this very clearly, that even as we aspire to offering good benefits to our employees, and as an employer, it is good to also be agile and to be open-minded with low-cost services, but services that allow our employees just to be happy, have peace of mind, be able to work, and also help us retain good talent. And with that, it's good, I think we also go back to our audience just to check whether they are still with us and check with them what is already in place at their companies. And we'll run another poll where we just want to find out on what benefit is already existing in your organization. Do you have mental health? Do you have wellness depends, like Jackie mentioned? Do you have regular employee check-ins? Do you have preventive health screenings as a benefit? Or actually, maybe you don't have any. So I'm happy to see that most organizations are offering various benefits. I can see mental health resources are at the top at 50%. I can also see that employees also have regular employee check-ins. We also have preventive health screening. Wellness depends are also in existence. And I'm sure this wellness depends would come with maybe benefits like payments of the gym, maybe sponsorships for marathons. And these are good benefits that, well offered to employees, they feel at home and they feel happy to be working for the organization. Unfortunately, I can also see that we have a 15% of none of the above. And I would suggest that do not worry, because you'll be walking away with practical steps of how to get these benefits at low costs with us here, WorkPay and Safety Wing. So I would just wonder what kind of data should HR teams then be looking at, and more importantly, how do they act on it meaningfully? This would definitely go to Jackie, because Jackie, as you can see, we are having various responses from our attendees, and clearly we have a 15% that has none of the above. Maybe this comes as a cost implication to the employer. And so maybe you would just help us open our mind and see what exactly or what kind of data would you be looking at? And most importantly, how would this be meaningful and impactful to our employees? Jackie?
All right. Thanks, Dana. And don't know if can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. So yeah, again, the survey results says it all. Well, in terms of trends in HR, we have different data. We might collect it actively or not really actively, but if I think of some of the signals where we have a signal, and if we don't act on it, it definitely tells us, oh, we should have stepped in earlier. So I'd say that the first trend, usually you make it, you recruit and negotiating stage, right? So we're trying to board a new employee, and obviously they have certain expectations around the benefits. There's for medical cover. Again, that's where you're able to easily pick out whether you're on track or off track with what you currently have. So that's usually one of the biggest indicator. The second indicator would be from particularly on healthcare is around, let's say, utilization reports from insurances, where they get to show us like, this is where we're doing great, this is where we're not doing so great. So for instance, in WorkPay, we easily tell that the child benefit, or for instance, the maternity cover probably isn't as sufficient as we thought it would be. With that trend of seeing the utilization going really, really high, where people are being forced to pay out of pocket, that makes us to pause, and it's a signal that we probably should have stepped in earlier. And lastly, I talked about surveys. I think engagement surveys are one of those things that you can easily pick what we're not doing great on, what you can improve on, and you start with the low-hanging fruits. Again, identify what is an easy win, and if anything that has a major budget implication, pack it and ensure that it's appropriately budgeted for. So I'd say that's how we'd basically get signals from surveys, from feedback, interactions with team members.
All right, thank you, Jackie, and thank you for taking up the conversation to the next level, where we are actually now looking ahead and designing the benefits package for the future. As you've mentioned, you've had instances where you've had to look back and think that you ought to have structured a benefit for a different country in a different way because maybe it was a bit too expensive for the employee. So maybe in line with that, that means you have to literally just analyze the different scopes of the different employees. And I am happy to hear you say that you're able to reorganize that and do it differently for your employees. So I would just want to understand, or let us understand also, what is that one misconception that companies still have about offering benefits to distributed teams, and how maybe we can correct it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the biggest misconception is it's too expensive, or it's gonna be too complex. So I think that's usually the biggest misconception. And the truth of the matter is, it's all about being intentional and not being extravagant. We can easily say, Google does this, the big techs do this. And, we feel intimidated, employers feel intimidated because they feel it's gonna, it's not sustainable. So it's all about being intentional, and just really customize what, work with what you have, work with the resources that you have. And as I said, the employees do have the solution, so they should be able to give you what actually means more to them. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Jackie. And apart from getting information from employees and maybe from surveys, what advice would you give employers who are scaling and would want to compete globally but feel still limited by their budget or their infrastructure? Yes, Jackie? Maybe George, you could take that also.
Absolutely. But first of all, I admire Jackie's approach and the way that she really takes care about her people. It shows that how much she takes their members' well-being seriously, and the poll shows exactly that mental health resources is quite vital for members' well-being to be able to succeed and to have a long life moving forward. Jackie also mentioned the claim usage, and this is what we also do in order to provide and boost awareness internally and externally with the team members, especially with the HR and head of people who manages the team from one dashboard, is to provide with how members are engaging with the product. Apart from this, we arranged wellness sessions where we gather together with the team members and we go over the details, we go over the plans and benefits, how they can submit the claim, what are the documents they need to request upon leaving the office consultation, because it is important that the coverage and the plan that you guys provide to your members should not only be there for usage only for emergency situations, but it should be there exactly to address those mental health treatments and complementary therapies that members need during the day. During the wellness sessions, we boost awareness and we highly encourage members to become familiar with the processes on submitting the claims, collecting the documents, getting reimbursed, and we bring them hand by hand until the last station, simply to have fully awareness of how they can utilize the plan.
All right, thank you, George. And maybe as we continue, maybe we could also talk about what is that one benefit that we would wish our companies offered in line with our expectations and the way forward. What are those benefits that we would want or we would have wished that our companies offered? And I'm also urging our attendees that you may drop your questions on the Q&A session so that then we can answer some as we proceed, or we can also cover them at the end. So please feel free to drop your questions there. George, you seem to be very clear that we don't have any question yet.
I would say that medical needs are unique in its own. You and I, we both can run some tests, the same procedure, but then the outcome might be quite different, and the follow-up procedures might also be quite different. What we have done at Safety Wing is that we have built and created a plan in such a beautiful way that is comprehensive. It covers not only the complex surgeries, cancer treatments, any medical necessary procedure that needs. When I say medical necessity, is outpatient services like seeing a provider, addressing your concern, addressing an issue. Something is wrong with your body and you need to be seen. These are outpatient services. Once you are let go home, you can submit the claim. Inpatient are also covered, meaning that you are hospitalized in facilities. And the difference between the outpatient medical necessity and screenings, which we also do offer, are routine checkups. So screenings is simply, let me see how my body is functioning. Let me see how my red cells and white cells are. Let me make sure that I am able to prevent any complications in time before it is too late. So I would say, and not to include vision and dental, which are also inevitable. We mentioned early on that working from remotely in front of the laptop the whole day might have its own pros and cons, so we got you covered also on the vision aspect. But preventative checkups, screenings, and basic vaccinations are vital for members' well-being too, apart from the complementary therapies and mental health sessions.
Wow, wonderful. That's profound. Jackie, I think you dropped off when we were just asking about the small or scaling companies and how we would compete globally but feel limited by their budgets. So the question was, how do you think these companies would actually include these benefits to offerings to employees without really stretching their budgets or their infrastructure?
Yeah, and probably George has really summed it up very well.
Yeah.
If you think of, just riding on what you said around preventive care, it's really underrated, and it really doesn't cost much. So if it means encouraging team members to take vaccinations, encouraging checkups, even if you feel you are fit as a fiddle, you can easily just pick something out just from an annual medical examination. Could be physical examination, it could be optical, it could be anything. So preventive care really does do a lot, and it helps you save costs in the long term. And you can also include wellness sessions, well-being sessions around different topics. If it's mental health, like in our African context, it's still a taboo to say that you have mental issues. So again, how do you create a space where people can feel that, yes, I am open to talk to, for instance, a virtual coach, to just let them know what's going on and how they can help me.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. And at this point, I would like to welcome George just to share what they offer as Safety Wing. But maybe before we get there, I would maybe like us to have a few questions. I can see we don't have any yet at the Q&A section. Kindly feel free to share your questions, but maybe after George has presented, then we are able to have questions from his end. But maybe just to give a small brief of maybe the few things we have learned, or I have heard Jackie really bring out clearly with George. It's that fast traditional coverage doesn't always mean that we have comprehensive care, especially for today's remote and global teams. We need to move beyond the basics and think more holistically, in the sense that we need to ensure that our employees, regardless of their geographical location, then they're happy and they're well taken care of. Secondly, mental health is essential and not extra. Really, it's not an afterthought. It is essential and should be taken care of, even by employers, as a benefit, just to ensure that our employees are happy to work for us and they're motivated to be with us and they're able to work and offer their services at their level best. This means supporting it should be a core part of any benefit strategy, no matter where our employees are. Thirdly, agility has come out very loud and clear, just to say that flexibility and proactivity are no longer nice haves. They are a must have. They are business critical requirements. And this is to ensure that employees are able to work regardless of their location, regardless of their state. And like Jackie was saying, even offering special benefits like helping employees set up their office at home or set up their office wherever they work from is a benefit that would keep our employees happy and comfortable while working. And companies can always adopt and attract and ensure that they retain the best talents. So I am happy to see that we are getting questions at the Q&A section. And maybe the other final bit that has come out very clearly from both Jackie and George is that data is your early warning system, that we need to use data as employers, as employees. And when we come to employees, it means let's participate in those surveys that are conducted by our people's teams, by our HRs, by our organizations. Let's give information so that then they are able to make wise decisions in whatever benefit that they offer us as employees. And also, benefits usage, like George had mentioned, some of these usage reports are shared with employers, and they are shared on a confidential basis in the sense that they're not given with employees' names. They're only given as a summary to show what usage their employees are actually using. And so those with mental health issues then are able to be given more benefits, like Jackie was mentioning and saying and putting it very clear. At times, when you have an incident or when you have an employee with a certain issue and you realize that the services or the benefit that you're offering is below what that geographical region is offering, it means that you need to go back as an employer and actually review these benefits. So feedback, data tracking, checking benefits usage are all insights that can help you spot issues early in the organization and respond in ways that truly matter to your employees. So maybe allow me just to read one of the questions from our chat. I have a very demotivated team simply because apart from salary, there is no other benefits. How do I keep them motivated? Jackie, that's for you. I think you would be able to tackle that very well.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear about. I can empathize with this particular team lead. I don't know if this study is still relevant, but there's many studies that have shown that salary is not really the only thing that motivates people. Obviously, it's a hygiene factor. It's bare minimum. You have to ensure that it is, if you can't match it being competitive, at least, it should help to get the team member to leave, for lack of a better word. But in that context, the hygiene factors like compensation. Now, studies have shown that there are many, many other things that keep employees engaged and motivated. So for this particular team lead, what I'd encourage them is to look at things like meaningful work. Meaningful work is something that, if, I could be paid all the money in the world, but if the work that I'm doing, I don't see it having an impact that matters. Again, it beats the purpose. So think around, I'd encourage this team member to think around the type of, assignments and projects that, you're giving the team members. Are they excited about it? Does it play towards their strengths? So that's critical. The second engagement factor that I can think of is health and safety. So is the bare minimum there? Like, do they feel that they work in a positive and conducive and safe environment? And then there's health, which is, again, healthcare, which is, I think for most countries, it's a bare minimum expectations, ensuring that is optimal and staff members are not paying out of pocket for instance, small outpatient services. The others are around basically trust in leadership, and impact. I think impact, I can't really emphasize more around that. People want to work for companies that they feel that, they are making an impact that works. There's meaning to their work. They can see how they're contributing to the overall company goals, and that should keep those team members engaged and motivated. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm sure that is very insightful for our attendees on how to keep their employees motivated. And maybe, George, do you have something else to add on that?
Yes. I am a firm believer that motivated or demotivated is a temporary shortcut. Where members feel motivated is also temporary, and the demotivation is also quite temporary. I would say it's a short-term feeling. Regardless of the salary, we have seen, and the statistics have shown that members in different industries have received tremendous large salaries, and still they haven't been able to be a good fit for the company. They haven't been able to be an inspiring figure for the rest of the team. Here at Safety Wing, we also have additional budgets where we can get plans and we can get our wellness and we can have our lunch with our fellow birds. However, the most important part of how we see ourselves eye to eye, and we are able to bring this spaceship to the moon, is by being inspired by the mission and by the vision of the company. This is what has helped us a lot to go through tough times, which is inevitable, and also be humble once we have conquered everything that we have put in our map to check. So being inspired, being seen, being valued, being appreciated as a member, as a key stakeholder, as a key important member of the company, it helps members more, sometimes more than the salary. But I would put it out there that once members are seen as a value, core value, that everything that they bring to the table is unmatched, I think this part where members feel demotivated can be easy overcome.
Thank you, George. That's profound. And that takes us to our next question. Insurers are often keen with organizations with large numbers of staff. George, what specific consideration will Safety Wing have for smaller organizations? And this is coming very clearly because we know most organizations that are very agile nowadays are actually small or medium enterprises. So, George, you can please take that question. What are you offering for smaller organizations?
I would say simply welcome to Safety Wing. We do not we do not overlook any soul, any members, any well-being. Each organization is vital into drive the modern technology and the modern way of how we work today. So numbers for are not as important as simply go and hunt after the big companies. As you guys have seen here, WorkPay and Safety Wing are joining forces to help boost awareness, to help welcome members, to help show what we can deliver, what we provide, so that you guys can compare apple to apple and make smart decisions for you and other companies. Regardless of the size, this is going to be only the initiative, the step, the first start of joining and starting collaborations with Safety Wing. We're here to support, we're here to boost the growth, and we will do everything that we can in our partnership to really bring it to the next level. So whether you are small, medium, or large, whatever the number it is, I can simply say welcome to Safety Wing.
Thank you, George. I think at this point, before I give George and Jackie an opportunity just to give us a 30-second reflection of this webinar, I would just want to urge our participants to continue sharing their questions at the Q&A section. I can see, I think we have tackled majority of the questions. I will not share any other that is there, but I can see there's a question along whether, George, you could explain again how Safety Wing is different from local plans.
Absolutely.
And this is a very good opportunity for you, George, because for sure Safety Wing is a different plan from what we are able to get locally in the African region. So welcome, George. Let's hear what's different.
Yeah, I am certain I'll cover the majority of what makes Safety Wing so special in compare with local providers is by starting that this is a global comprehensive coverage, providing the benefits to our members in more than 175 countries, regardless where they reside, where they work, whether they would continue traveling for work or pleasure. The plan remains the same in its utilization. So members, once traveling, whether that can be just changing the region, changing the city, country, or the continent, there is no need to switch for a different provider. The Safety Wing Remote Health follows you. It is one centralized dashboard, as I mentioned before, not only for the for the human resources members and other stakeholders to manage the team, but there is no need to deal with different local providers, dealing with the different pricing, having a different policy document, readjusting again into different processes on submitting claims and getting reimbursed. So no need to switch plans whenever you need. We have access to now, as mentioned, to digital and both in-person medical care with the card, with the uses of the card, with the payment form. Now you don't have to burden your financial expenses, whether that is available or not, that it's up to you. But with our payment method, which is up to $150 for each medical treatment, you see the provider, you use the Safety Wing card, you make sure you upload those documents so that the claims can be validated, and then the card will be reset again with another $150 ready to be used for the next treatment or medical consultation. Upon moving, members changing the country, moving from one place to another one, there will not be any gaps into the coverage as well. So this gives also the companies and the HR a peace of mind knowing that members, wherever they would go, they would be covered by the same plan, the same pricing, regardless of their geographic location. One policy to manage, one go-to person, one policy document, customer care team 24/7 dedicated to answer any questions or concerns that the members might have. In case it's some of that is out of office, it's a weekend, we'll always be there to support and boost awareness and guide our members step by step on really how to utilize and make the most out of our plans. I believe this is different from the local providers. Simply by putting into the scale local providers, it will cover you locally. Once you cover that board, you would be somehow uncovered. And this is what we have seen, and all Safety Wing team is distributed across the globe. Beate and I, we are in different parts of Europe, but we are still part of the wings. We have coverage on our end, and then we can take it everywhere we go.
Thank you, George. Thank you very much. And Jackie, one more question. I would just want to align along employee information, like you had mentioned about using data and using also the health records of how far employee have used and what is the most benefit they enjoy, and whether you have employees that are enjoying special benefits like mental health, and how you're able to use that medical data against them, because you're a HR person, you're a people's person. People out there believe that HR people are not one of the best because they could use any information against you. How would you advise employers maybe to handle their medical data?
Yeah, that's a really good observation. And it's not a misconception. To be very honest, it's a misconception. I think first and foremost, it's just to say that even our profession is regulated. So any misconduct will literally get your license revoked by. So just for context, we are bound by professional regulations. And if you think of medical data, for instance, because I know that is a concern I've received from many people, I think it's important to note that there is, patient, doctor, or hospital confidentiality. So even when we're getting medical reports, it basically comes as a summary. It's not tied to a particular person or age or gender. Really, we just get like, hey, this is most people are having chest issues, most people are having bone issues. So it's a big misconception that we have the data, we see the data, and we can use it against them. If someone has gone to see a psychiatrist, for instance, we won't be able to tell who it is, right? And obviously it wouldn't be the right thing to do to victimize people and use that information against them. So we'll be in trouble. We'll lose our license, and I'm pretty sure also the health facility itself will be in a lot of trouble as well. So we try as much as possible to proceed with integrity in everything we do, in every data that we come across with.
Wow, that is very profound, and it's good to know. It's good to make it public that you also are under regulations to ensure that you also do not use information against employees. And now, because I can see that George is actually ready, I would give him the opportunity to just talk to us about safety wing, but also on the same concern about data. From an underwriter's perspective, kindly let us know how you handle employees' data.
Absolutely. I would second with Jackie that our members' personal information is holy. It is highly guided, it is highly guarded, and only our claims team and claim adjudicators have access to their medical reports, doctor notes, and all of that. The only information that we share with HR department is the claims usage in general, meaning the numbers of the claims used and the top 10 or top 5 most used benefits. To be compliant under HIPAA and other regulations, we are humans first, and all their medical information is highly guarded by our claims and adjudicators, and it's not provided with any other of our partners, nor companies or HRs upon request, which is, of course, absolutely out of mind. But this is something that we really take a lot of pride by supporting our members and empowering them, that this is not something that will run up in the streets by going that this person used this much claims and that much claims. This is highly protected and guarded by the rules and the foundations of insurance industry.
Right. Thank you, George. And before you start your presentation, I think I just want to invite all members, all our attendees to WorkPay and Safety Wing, because if you're exploring any flexible, scalable benefits for your global teams, you can be sure that WorkPay and Safety Wing are helping growing companies to do just exactly that. And also, you're welcome to actually get any personalized consultation for those asking for services that are maybe below 5 employees or 10 employees. You can be sure that with WorkPay, we are able to offer all these benefits, and it's in partnership with Safety Wing. And now I would give Jackie an opportunity just to give us a 30 seconds reflection on what they'd advise an employer building benefits in 2025 or in this new era should actually do, because she's in the people sector, and I know she has a vast experience for the past 15 years handling people, and even now here at WorkPay handling employees from various regions. So Jackie, just give us your maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute reflection on what you would advise an employer who is trying to build benefits for their employees across the globe.
Yeah, thanks, Diana. So if I think of the probably three or four tips that give specifically small scaling teams, is to obviously just talk about the misconception that most employers have, that it's too expensive to offer global benefits. It's actually not. Again, it's all about not trying to match big tech companies, because being authentic really does beat packs. So being yourself, being intentional, and not extravagant will help you get there. I'd also say start with the needs, what you actually need versus the noise. It's very easy to get caught up in the noise rather than what we actually need and what we can actually afford. So start with that, and then now you can think of expanding. and also engage with experts like Safety Wing, right? I think that's the biggest advice I would give. Engage with the experts. They know, they have been in the industry for long. They've done their due diligence. They've done the benchmarking. So really engaging with experts like ourselves really does go a long way in helping you build a really productive, engaged, motivated, and healthy workforce.
Wow, thank you. Thank you, Jackie. And before we get to George, because George will be wrapping up this for us, I would just invite our participants maybe to just let us know how today's session was before we can wrap up with the Safety Wing presentation, because he will be talking about the benefits that they are able to offer. Also just offering information about what Safety Wing and WorkPay are doing. So allow me just to get to know how we did today so that we can improve and also look at what we can offer in future. So I'm welcoming the attendees right now just to share with us their feedback on whether they enjoyed today's session or not. I can see the poll running, and I am happy that majority actually enjoyed. But also I can see majority of us have left. So I think, George, it's just a good opportunity to give you a chance to just talk to us about Safety Wing, what Safety Wing offers, and how we have partnered with you just to ensure that we offer good employee health benefits. Welcome, George.
I will be more than happy to do so. First of all, please confirm if you guys can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
So again, a global health benefits built for and tailored for global people like you and I who travel or live in different parts of the world, and still we are able to work for the same goal, and we are able to work for the same company, and we might be colleagues together, but borders do not really take us apart, and benefits do not put us into risk in different positions where one member is getting more benefits than the other ones. What WorkPay and Safety Wing is doing here the best is by providing equal benefits, but also allowing the flexibility for members to choose one of our 3 plans, whichever suits their needs the best. Being part of our community is that you have a global social safety net, meaning that our members have the flexibility, I would love to use the word autonomy, to be seen by any provider up to their choice, whether it is a public provider or a private provider. Again, members have had different experiences with public providers, and if you have seen one of them in the past 3, 4, 5 months or years, continue doing so. However, know that depending on the necessity, depending on the urgency, Safety Wing members are able to be seen by any provider up to their choice. We're adding life policy, life coverage, which will help the family members upon any death or life-altering injury. If the policyholder is no longer with us, at least the beneficiary can benefit somehow from the benefits that the employers have put into those benefits for them. As I mentioned before, 175 countries, the plan will work exactly the same wherever you are currently residing or soon about to travel for work or pleasure. There is no network. This goes along with the flexibility and the autonomy that I mentioned, where members can be seen by any provider of their choice. Dependence coverage can also build a great trust by merging all family members under one plan, so that everybody can be familiar with the processes, with the policy documents, participating in our wellness sessions to boost awareness, how members can really utilize the plan effectively. Zero co-insurance, zero co-payment. You will get 100% reimbursement for as long as the treatments are covered under the policy and do not fall under the exclusion sections. Of course, being a global health insurance, it will be quite of a great challenge to put every medical concern in written, black over white. However, we have mastered to put the exclusions, which are 3 pages long, things that we do not cover, and members can make sure to avoid them. 24/7 customer support, any questions, concerns that the members might have down the road, any insecurity. I've scouted the policy document. I remember what George said in our wellness sessions. I still want to make sure that this particular medical treatment is covered and the members can address their questions into our chat, talking with our birds, humans sitting behind the screens, and it will not be an answer generated by AI. It's easy to use, it's easy to join, especially for the HR members. I mentioned before that the onboarding is smooth as butter on the bread, where with a few clicks you can add members to the plan, regardless where they reside, from Nairobi to India and Mexico, all across the globe. Joining forces with Safety Wing and the pricing, which is absolutely one of the greatest concerns of each company, to make sure that they are sustainable and budget friendly. Being part of a community coverage, we offer 30% discount for all members and companies joining forces with us. So by providing them with equal benefits, it sets the tone, it increases the morality and the motivation or inspiration. Let's go with inspiration still. These are of plans that we provide to all of our companies, all of our partners, to bring and to boost the awareness of members' well-being. So standard, premium, and premium plus, with the global coverage or maximum coverage from $1.5 million all the way up to $5 million US for the premium plus maternity, for the premium plus plan. We have an outpatient. As again, outpatient is medical necessary. So you see the provider upon feeling sick or having an injury that you need to address. $5,000 per year. Complementary therapies, as you can see, 15 sessions across all the plans, and mental health sessions starting from 10 under the standard and 15, 20, all the way to the premium plus. Screenings and vaccinations are part of all our plans, starting from the standard plan with $350, which will checkups, cardiovascular, cancer screenings, any preventative checkups, gynecologists for all our female members who have their semi-annual or quarterly checkups. It will go under the screenings, unless they experience an issue due to that, gynecologist area. It will go under the outpatient. As a grand maternity coverage for all our members, starting from standard plan with $2,500, premium $4,500, and premium plus $7,500, covering natural delivery and medical necessary delivery. On top of it, there's another $50,000 covering maybe up to 30 days post-delivery, just in case of any complications that the new lamp will have upon being part of our world. Premium is more complex, more richer in terms of additional benefits such as dental and vision. And Premium Plus is, of course, the upgraded plan, which has a greater total coverage with $5 million, 20 mental health sessions, and a greater budget for the maternity coverage. In order to use our maternity coverage, members will have to wait 10 months. There's a 10-month waiting period upon utilization of this benefit. Other than that, everything above is ready to be used upon the start date of members' coverage. These are the plan benefits, always available on members and always available on the Human Resources Department, just to make sure that what is included as a quick summary of our benefits. And of course, the safety card. It's a worldwide preloaded debit card, ready to be used for all our members, up to $150 for any medical treatment, session, outpatient services, dental, vision, anything of the above, which covers them up to $150. We have two simple ways of submitting claims or paying the doctor. It's either out of pocket, up to $250, just in case the card is not available, and any procedure greater than $250, mostly for complex treatments, in case of a surgery or any upcoming treatment, you can arrange direct billing, having Safety Wing pay for your expenses. A real life example, removing your wisdom tooth, it's not always a pleasant experience. Sometimes doing so might present a challenge where the dentist needs to go through a surgery. And if the cost will be around $250 or more, you can collect the documents, how much this treatment plan is going to cost, and connect Safety Wing with this office. We can pay the cost. Anything lower than that, you can pay out of pocket. Up to $150, you have the payment card available to use it and not burden your financial expenses. As a peace of mind, we now know that the polls have also shown crystal clear how important the well-being of members is, how the mental health is also super important, and more richer benefits due to the internal policies of companies and different EORs. Life coverage now is an option to add to the members. Simple process. It will cover them everywhere they go. Upon death or any life-altering danger, the family member or the HR will submit a claim to our team so that we can pay the lump sum amount to the family. Some exclusion countries where remote health does not provide coverage for residency. So just in case any of our members will be in Iran, Palestine, in Congo, in Saudi Arabia, due to their own regulations, bureaucracies, Safety Wing is working with those countries here to make sure that at least we can provide for emergency situations only, just in case some of our members will travel in one of those countries. But as of right now, apart from this little list, there is 175 countries ready to be explored by our members. I hope my personal story inspired some of you. Get your backpack, travel light, and see you somewhere in the world. And with that, I will conclude my presentation and showing what Safety Wing is, what our mission and vision is. And I hope that we can really have shed more light into the health industry. Diane, you are on mute.
Thank you, George. I'm sorry for that. Yes, so thank you very much, George, for that profound presentation, and also for letting us know why Safety Wing is actually different. And so I'm welcoming all those employers or employees who are here to just invite their employers to just come and work with WorkPay and Safety Wing so that then we are able to offer good solutions. And finally, and not to the least, thank you so much, our speakers, that is Jackie and George, for giving us such insights and also letting us know that for sure traditional insurance is not just the way to go, and we need to be agile, thinking beyond borders, and ensuring that we utilize the kind of data that we have to listen to our employees and ensure that we offer benefits that are good and also beneficial to their work environment. So thank you very much. I hope that this session gave each and every one of us food for thought and also practical ideas to take back home to your teams and to your employers. And until next time, it is time for us just to live and have a good evening for those within the East African region, and others, I know it's a good afternoon now. So from wherever you are, have a good day ahead, and thank you for being part of Work Pay and Safety Wing webinar. Cheers.
Thank you. See you guys soon. Bye.